Good afternoon and welcome to the Recovering Perfectionist Mama Grace in Progress podcast. I am Buffy. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Happy to have you here. To give you a little bit of information about who I am and why I'm doing a podcast, I'm a women's lifestyle creator on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, handling issues from marriage to children to self-empowerment, self-improvement, fitness, nutrition, ultimately things that can bring you balance if you get the information that you need and to be able to level up and live the life that you want to live. And essentially model that for your children, inspire them to live that kind of life, and that be part of your legacy. At least that's my goal, constantly leveling up. And additionally, I would like to create a group of women or a village of women because so many people in the hustle and bustle of life these days don't necessarily have that village. And so how wonderful for us all to grow together and level up together. That is my goal, but we'll see what happens, right? So today we're going to talk about conflict resolution for exhausted parents. Arguing without breaking each other. Because ultimately, when we're exhausted, we're really not ourselves. Makes me think of the Snickers commercial. You're not yourself when you're hangry, right? Remember the older Robin Williams episode where he is, it's Betty White, but then it turns into Robin Williams. It's just kind of a funny, it's like, you're not yourself when you're hangry. And you're not yourself when you're overwhelmed and you're exhausted and you're at the end of your rope. That's true also, as we all know. So, welcome back to the show, friends. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're talking about one of the hardest parts of parenting that no one prepares you for. How to handle conflict when you and your partner are both absolutely exhausted. And for those of you in the trenches, you know, it is exhausting. It's almost like you're doing this thing. I don't know if you guys have seen that thing where the person is on the treadmill, like at the highest speed, and they're running and people are throwing things at them. And their whole goal is to stay on the treadmill, not slow down, not stop, not get overwhelmed, not get stressed. I probably would be like, I'm out. I can't do this. I'm done already. I'm not talking about a small tiff or a cute disagreement over where to order dinner. I'm talking about real, raw conflict. The kind that happens when you're both running on 3 hours of sleep, someone's crying in the other room, the dishes are piled high, and one wrong word can set everything off. It's like the camel that broke the straw, or the straw that broke the camel's back. We're diving deep into how to argue productively, manage short tempers, and repair quickly, especially when life feels like survival mode. But here's the truth. Tired love is still love, but it needs different care. Why exhaustion changes how we fight. Let's start here. When we're sleep deprived, our brains literally change. Research shows that lack of sleep affects your prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that helps you regulate emotions and think clearly. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the part responsible for fight or flight, goes into overdrive. So when you're running on empty, you're more likely to snap, misinterpret tone, or overall overreact to small things. And I know I've been there completely. But here's the kicker. When both partners are sleep deprived, you've got two, not one, but two, reactive brains trying to have a calm conversation. I love this analogy. It's like two toddlers arguing with each other. And I say that lovingly because ultimately we're just children sometimes, aren't we? Got to get the last word. I might be guilty of that. So, step one to managing conflict isn't communication, it's recognition. Recognize that your brain is tired. Recognize that your partner's brain is tired because that alone creates empathy. You can't fix what you don't understand. So let's break this down into practical, usable tools because understanding is good, but application is what saves relationships. The pause principle, how to argue productively. Let's talk about what I call the pause principle. When you feel your temper rising, when your chest gets tight, when you want to say something sharp, pause. 5 seconds. That's it. Breathe in through your nose, exhale slowly, and say nothing. I'm laughing because sometimes it's really difficult for me to say nothing and not to respond. I don't know how many of you are in that boat. I'm clearly in that boat. This tiny window gives your nervous system a chance to reset. It moves you from reaction to response. And what is reaction going to do? Reaction is going to escalate the situation, not the outcome that you're seeking. When you're sleep deprived, this pause becomes your superpower. And when both of you are in that space, it helps to have a phrase, something you agree on in calmer times. Something like, hey, I'm too tired to do this right now. Can we talk about it when we both cool down? Very logical, right? This isn't avoidance. It's emotional triage. You're choosing to protect your relationship from saying things that exhaustion might regret later. Fighting fair. Arguing to understand, not to win. Again, I'm also guilty of that. So I'm seeing a lot of patterns here, guys. Sorry. Now here's a truth bomb. Most conflicts in parenting partnerships aren't about what they seem to be about. It's not about who forgot to take out the trash or who got up with the baby last night. It's about feeling unseen, unsupported, and unappreciated. And I think that that's the biggest takeaway for me from this is the fact that, yes, things that we push down, bubble to the surface, and then it ends up exploding into this crazy thing that no one would have wanted or anticipated, but it happened, and it's still, potentially going on, especially if the other partner is similar to me and likes to kind of respond. I mean, I know I need to work on that, guys. But ultimately, that's the reality of it, Oftentimes, arguments aren't about what people are arguing about. They're about things that have bubbled to the surface that are just frustrating that other person, and they have to get it out, and they have to let that person know. So instead of arguing over tasks, argue for understanding. That sounds like this. I'm not mad that you forgot the dishes. I'm mad because I feel like I'm carrying too much right now. And that is a fair statement, especially if that's how you're feeling. And the other person can respond, I didn't realize how heavy it felt for you. What can I take off your plate tonight? See the difference? You're moving from blame to teamwork. And teamwork is the whole reason that you're a couple in the first place. You're shifting the fight from you versus me versus the problem. And the problem is something you both share, which again is synonymous with your relationship, right? It's like you are a team. You are two bonded together, working for the same purpose, same solution. And that is powerful. And when you're exhausted, the shift is everything because you're both too tired to play defense. Repairing quickly, the fast repair method. Now, also, you need to keep in mind with the fast repair method, my husband and I, for instance, are completely different people, personality-wise and other aspects of our lives. Not a bad way, just different, right? Not bad, different. For me, I'm a person who can get really agitated really quickly and fly off the handle, and then 5 seconds later, I'm fine. He and I went on one of our first disagreements that we had was a scenario where I had flash in the pan, upset, and just and I remember it was I don't know, maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, because like I said, I'm pretty quick about kind of turning around. And I wanted to talk to him and hug him and, get some, just a hug or something from him. And he was like, no, I can't right now. He's like, the difference between you and I is you fly off the handle and then you're fine. He said, I am a slow boil. It takes a while to get me upset. And then when I'm upset, I need time to be able to like cool down. I mean, I think that's very insightful to know that about yourself. I also know that the way that I am as well, because I try to be very self-aware. And I think it's really important to kind of acknowledge kind of your get over it types, you know, and not take it personally if they're like my husband, you know. I've learned to kind of realize that and just kind of let him have a space. So let's talk about what happens after the argument, the repair. Repair is how you heal after a rupture. And let's be honest, when you're both tired, ruptures happen a lot. The fast repair method is simple. Acknowledge, take ownership, and reconnect. You can say, hey, I snapped earlier. I shouldn't have said that. How many times have I said that? I know we're both exhausted. I love you. Let's reset. That 15-second repair builds more trust than pretending it didn't happen. And some couples want to use the avoidance, which doesn't solve things, and it makes both people feel incomplete or that things are unresolved. And here's the secret. You don't need a big apology or a 2-hour talk. You just need consistency. When you repair fast, you show your partner that love still leads, even when tempers flare. And they're going to flare because we're human. You're saying we're okay. We can mess up and still be safe with each other. That's emotional safety, and it's the backbone of any strong relationship. The emotional reset ritual. When life is chaos, create a ritual that brings you both back to center. It could be as simple as 60 seconds of deep breathing together after the kids go to bed. Saying we're on the same team before talking about a hard topic. A daily 5-minute check-in. No phones, no distractions, just connection. It's not about how long you spend. It's about how intentional you are. These micro moments of connection rebuild trust, even when you're both tired, cranky, and human. When to take a time out. Sometimes the best conflict resolution strategy is time. If you feel your heart pounding, or you've said the same thing 3 times and it's going nowhere, that's your cue to stop. Say, I want to talk about this, but I need to calm down first. Walk away with the promise to return. Timeouts are not avoidance. They're maturity. You're pressing pause, not eject. Because continuing a fight when your body is in full stress mode won't solve the problem. It'll just deepen it. Rebuilding after the storm. After a conflict, repair together. Ask, what did we learn from that? How can we handle it better next time? What do you need from me when you're tired? This isn't about reliving the fight. It's about learning from it. Every argument can either weaken or strengthen your bond. The difference is how you repair. And remember, love isn't proven in perfect communication. It's proven in how you come back to each other. Parenting is beautiful, but it's brutal sometimes, as we all know. You're both giving, stretching, and surviving. And in that chaos, it's normal to lose your patience. It's normal to fight. But here's the key. Don't let exhaustion write your love story. Be intentional. Pause before reacting. Argue to understand, not to win. And always, always repair fast. Because at the end of the day, you're not opponents. You're teammates raising tiny humans in a loud, messy, beautiful life. And your relationship, it's worth protecting, even in the hard seasons. If this episode spoke to you, share it with your partner or your favorite tired parent friend, which I'm sure you have many, just like I do. Follow the show, leave a review, and let me know what topics you want next. We're in this together, guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope you'll come and join us again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.